2023, another year come and gone, and as we look back, time really does fly. We keep moving farther away from when we first experienced the pandemic, which was just 4 years ago, and just looking back, it's also another reminder I'm slowly becoming old. Not that I keep getting nostalgia shorts on my feed though. Who would watch those? Yeah. Above all else, at least we have some good manga to keep us going through the hard times. Today is the day I get to talk about my top 10 manga of 2023. And I remember when I did my last one last year, I remember it being such a fun time. And of course I obviously don't mean the editing, but I am happy to keep doing stuff like this. So I'm looking forward to discussing my favourites I've read this year with you all. Of course, reading more than 10 titles this year is a hard thing to do, and it's hard to actually structure a list when there's so many good ones you've read. So I like to take a moment to appreciate the ones I couldn't add in the top 10. Paradise Kiss, Heavenly Delusions, Cardcaptor Sakura, Kindergarten Wars, and above all else, a special mention to JoJo Part 9. Oh, thank you again, Araki, for continuing to write this beautiful franchise for me. For now, let's dive into my top 10. Make sure the smartphones are off and no talking during the video, and enjoy your time with popcorn. Number 10, Kawaii Hito. Kawaii Hito is a sweet shoujo story I was looking for when I was looking for something short, completed, and just a nice romance story. This story revolves around a florist named Hanazono, a 27-year-old guy who really likes nice things like flowers and is a really decent and good guy. But then, if you look at his face, it tells a different story. He tries to welcome customers with a nice smile, but he gives off a really scary and creepy vibes. With that, it has been a rough life for him, and it's a struggle for looking for love. But every now and again, this cute young college girl comes to his shop, and he loves interacting with her every day. She once asked him to arrange flowers to give it to someone she likes, in which he did not realize those flowers would be for him, and this was the beginning of his first love story. While the outside may look like it's the Grim Reaper that is dating a girl, it is such a wholesome relationship where both sides care about each other, want to know about each other more, and makes each other happy. Reading through this relationship is so nice and sweet. I definitely was able to relax and enjoy this read-through because of it. I wanted to enjoy every single panel of them being cute and together, man. Especially the moments Hanazono gives an actual pure smile of joy. If you're looking for a cute shoujo romance, wholesome, and only focuses on the romance, please give it a try. It definitely should be talked more often. Number 9. My Love Story with Yamada at level 999. Gamers. What if I told you there's a romance that's not only wholesome, but it dives into the world of gamers? That's right. My Love Story with Yamada is a story about two people met playing an MMO, and when they met in real life, we get to see a love story. Of course, let's start from the beginning, when a girl named Akane just got dumped by her boyfriend when he got stolen by a girl in the online game they played together. I wonder if it actually was a girl. She had to try to move on from it, especially when she tried to keep playing the MMO they played together, although he unfriended her, and she then met this goofy avatar guy named Yamada, who's in the same guild as Akane, although he isn't exactly the social type to talk to. A few days later, she went to a real-life event in which she saw her ex-boyfriend in the crowd, and she had to get away from him, trying to move on, and that was when she met the real Yamada. She found that out by the way he coldly speaks, and also found out he's a very famous pro gamer, so she used it to pretend she's dating Yamada as a flex in front of her ex, who is in love with Yamada as a gamer. Akane seemed to keep venting her issues onto Yamada, and despite how much care Yamada shows, he is always there when Akane needs it. She then got too drunk and then woke up in his room while he was playing League of Legends. This was the starting point of their love story, but when she saw that screen, she had to run out because she found out that he plays League of Legends. I'm joking, of course. Yamada and Akane's journey from barely knowing each other to becoming gamer couples is a very adorable relationship to look at. While Akane isn't exactly a true gamer, she does enjoy playing with friends online and spend time playing games with Yamada, and despite being a League player, Yamada grew into understanding how much he loves Akane and does his absolute best to support her. While outside the romance, this manga is really funny. It reminds me of like Watakoi style of comedy, of the way they express their feelings, like when Akane feels something, her face goes into this like goofy like expression, and sometimes is able to show how much she likes something. When we do get to them being an actual couple, it feels like a massive reward to seeing a great couple getting together. One thing I do appreciate this manga as well is it also shows like the bad side to meeting up with people from the internet world, and it shows how there is a big difference between the internet and the consequences of real life. This is definitely a manga I unexpectedly enjoyed. I read it around the time the anime was airing, and I heard everyone who watched it loved it, and I'm in a really big anime burnout phase, so I just couldn't be asked to watch it, so I just read all of the manga instead, and I loved it. This manga is such a cozy read, and seeing this relationship is what sad single weebs like me would call relationship goals. Number 8. Mission Yakura Family. Now, if you hadn't seen Yakura Family, you would have been what I was like before, and would always see it being promoted along with the other weekly Shonen Jump titles. When I used to look at Yakura Family, it was one of those manga I knew I would probably enjoy, but for some whatever reason, I just could not start it. Then when I downloaded Manga Plus's app, I decided to binge read it, and at the end, I absolutely loved every second of it. There literally has been rare moments of me bursting out full laughter from manga, and this was the one that made me laugh so many times. Yakura Family is about a young boy named Tayo who lost his family in a tragic car accident, and the one who has helped him through this hardship was a girl named Mutsumi, a childhood friend and a girl he likes, and when they started to get closer in high school, this mysterious teacher keeps getting in front of them, and then took Tayo in a secret room and showed his collection of Mutsumi pics, and was so close to being killed as well. Then the next moment, he woke up and was around a bunch of unique looking characters and Mutsumi. Turns out, Mutsumi's family is a big family of spies in which he literally just found out, and her eldest brother Kyoichiro is a giant sister lover to Mutsumi, and tried to get rid of Tayo because of it, especially when he's a very skilled spy. The family tried to help Tayo escape the house. Kyoichiro, being so skilled, it wasn't exactly easy, and it just came to the conclusion the only way to save Tayo's life is if he would marry Mutsumi, and he managed to get that resolve fighting against Kyoichiro, and literally roasted him by calling him Big Brother. Tayo's journey now is to become a member of the Yakura family, and aspire to blend into this weird, bizarre family. Not only Yakura is great for its action, it does so well with comedy, the skit it does, the cute wholesome moments, and especially the tough moments as well. I think what makes a manga like this, with a big cast, fun is when they take an actual care into writing all of them to make each quirks interesting and unique. You would normally may dislike one family member, but honestly, I really enjoyed getting to know each character and the entertainment they add into this fun story. Now, confession time. The real reason I started Yakura Family was because when the anime was revealing the character designs for the anime and the voice actors with it, I looked at one in particular who got me very interested, especially when she will be voiced by a voice actor who also voices another gamer girl I love, but I won't say who. And what can I say? I do everything for purple hair waifus. And when I was reading the manga, I was right. I absolutely loved Shion and every scene she was in. This is a manga that proves when you know you would like it, and when you do, you will love it. And now every week, I can't wait for the next chapter. Number 7. Is love the answer? Now looking at this, you would think it's a heavy love story. Well, it's not. This short 1-volume manga explores a girl's journey to understanding who she is, and what exactly is she. I love manga that explores themes such as sexuality. As someone who wouldn't understand what it is to be a certain thing and would never understand what it really is like and the pain it brings, I do like getting to learn and understand the meaning of these things though. It helps me learn better and know how to understand people's faults better. This manga reflects the girl's feelings and her understanding of being an asexual. Growing up, this girl Chika never understood love, and because of that, she felt like she was an alien compared to her friends and people in the world. She was always told it could be she's just waiting for the special one, but it felt like she never meets that type of person and struggles because of it, especially when her friends would talk behind her back and talk about how she's different. When she entered college, she would be able to meet peers who are going through somewhat similar feelings, and college is the perfect place to be able to find out who you are. She would meet a psychology professor who would help Chika with these confusing feelings and told her those feelings are absolutely normal. Chika later then found out she was an asexual, and she would explore the concept behind it, and people who are also like Chika. This was an interesting read, short and sweet, and tells everything it needs to say, especially introducing Chika's story growing up and the lack of physical intimacy she didn't have. I highly recommend this manga, especially when you actually want to learn something from it. Number 6. Pluto. Pluto was one of the first manga I fully binged in 2023. This was after I finished a certain anime I will be talking about later, and I wanted to explore more of Naoki Urasawa's work, and I know I butchered that name so bad, but I'm going with it. An expansion on one of the most iconic manga, Astro Boy, and expands on a story in Urasawa's style of storytelling. Pluto doesn't exactly focus on Atom, the Astro Boy. Our main protagonist is a robot named Geist, a robot detective investigating a mysterious attack of robots in which he, one of the 7 great robots, will face too. It explores a futuristic world with interaction between human and machine, but it also shows it is not a perfect utopia. Urasawa's style of deep storytelling and added psychological attributes with a human tone is the perfect style for what this story was building up to. Geist is a good, honest, and hardworking protagonist I really admire. This type of character I would enjoy reading through, and when a certain moment hit, would hit me harder. The one detail I love in robot stories like this is when we use robots to portray human emotions and feelings way better than we do, and it's moments like these you can help understand certain emotions better. It reminded me of Gamma from Sonic Adventure, my favourite game of all time. Seeing how he started to where he ended up, caring for his brothers, it was a really human moment, and he ended the moment he did everything he needed to do. You don't need a long story to be able to understand them, but it could just take that one moment you could change your perspective on them, and that was a big thing I felt in Pluto. One of the moments that truly got me hooked into this story was one of the Great 7 robots, North Number 2. He was assigned to take care after this famous elderly musician, despite him hating robots, and only saw North Number 2 as a war machine. Their journey together in that big mansion was a tear-jerking one. The man would later to understand North Number 2 a bit, especially when he helped the musician remember the tune he vaguely remembered. That reminded when he used to be a boy who can be able to see as well, because he was blind, and his mother he forgotten a long time ago. Their relationship would grow into good friends, but unfortunately it wouldn't last long. The strange occurrence that was targeting the Great 7 robots went to North Number 2, and he went into the sky fighting this thing. The man couldn't see anything that was happening, but all he could hear was North Number 2 humming that song to his death. This small story broke me at the end, and shockingly, this was only from the first volume. If you think it's only sad in the first volume, it's definitely not. Pluto is a gem I really enjoyed reading, and something I wouldn't forget for the amazing characters it had. Number 5. Slam Dunk. Now, if you have been in the manga community long enough, you would have definitely heard about this one in particular. Slam Dunk is a gem of a sports manga. Even though I know shit about basketball, it felt like a ride reading this. This came from Takahiko Inoue, who is also the same creator as Vagabond and Real. And just like the author, I couldn't seem to be able to continue these manga for whatever reason, but I did a long binge through Slam Dunk. Slam Dunk is about this delinquent named Sakuragi, who is trying to find true love, and that's when he first met Haruko Akagi. It was love at first sight for him. Something rise, and it wasn't the shield hero. She was asking if he likes basketball, and he lied and said he loves it. When he was alone with her, they would play basketball together, and despite only just learning what a dunk is, he tried to sprint and jump and tried to slam into the hoop in which he failed, but still, for someone who doesn't know anything about basketball, it was an amazing moment. This is Sakuragi's story of joining the basketball team for love and motivating himself to achieve a perfect slam dunk, even though that's the only thing he ever cared about and not anything else to do with basketball. Even in a short time, Sakuragi was able to pick up many things to be able to participate in an actual game, but he has to face many challenges in this journey. Rivals, gangs, drama behind the team, and other characters' motivations. I think what makes this fun is the connections he makes with these other basketball team members. Like Rurouni, his rival, who is a pro at playing basketball, and he's Captain Akagi, who is Haruko's older brother, and how he teaches Sakuragi the love in basketball and the pain of it. Inoue's style and interest in basketball really makes this manga very enjoyable. Especially in the matches, you get to see some of these nice double pace shots, big moments that would hit hard, like Sakuragi trying to throw the ball into the hoop, and many more like this. One of my absolute favourite moments of Slam Dunk, though, was the final match. Just as the buzzer went off and the team emerged victorious, Sakuragi and Rurouni, who never really go along, gave this amazing hand slap showing their excitement to show how hard they played in this game. This double spread panel is the satisfaction of what reading over 200 chapters is like, and the development we went along with it to get here. I really enjoyed Slam Dunk, and I should really get back into the mangaka's other works, especially Real, as it explores basketball but in a different tone. Number 4. Blood on the Tracks. Now, I already said a lot about this manga in one of my videos, but I feel it's wrong to not add this in the top 10 list, and even in the top 5, because this manga was horrifyingly beautiful and explores a distorted story of a relationship between mother and son. Shuzo Oshimi was already one of my most favourite mangaka, but reading Blood on the Tracks when it was near the end was just truly alright. First thing though, I'm not really a true horror guy at all, and I feel Oshimi's style of horror was the reason I put myself off Blood on the Tracks for a long time. But when I binged all of the chapters that was out, I came out truly amazed how beautiful and brilliantly dark this weird manga was. I would describe this as a very human manga, as this really portrayed the ugliness in a human family's life. A story of a boy trying to escape the control and guilt his mother has on him, goes through this deep psychological journey with his unconscious backstabbing him at his lowest. And the detail I really appreciated in this manga is the distortion in Oshimi's art. When Sei had to take complete responsibility for his cousin's murder, and his brother literally gave him up and abandoned him to his crime, his life started to crumble up. This is a great reason why I love psychological attributes in manga, and how these mangakas express painful moments like this through their art. Blood on the Tracks is a manga I couldn't forget even if I tried, and it made me love Shuzo Oshimi as an artist even more. Number 3. Buty the Rock. This shouldn't be a surprise, come on. I feel everyone who knows me and watch my videos would know how much I love Buty the Rock! And now I finally get to talk about the manga, and catching up to it was such a fun ride. Buty the Rock is about a girl named Hitori Goto who's extremely socially anxious, and she was able to make a band with other girls and try to make something out of it. Just like the anime, this manga was crazy, quirky, over the top, heartwarming, relatable, and many other things describe how fun this manga was. To be honest, as someone who prefers the manga medium than anime nowadays, seeing the anime was so different and creative. They expanded on so many things the manga done that made the humor beyond hilarious. But this doesn't mean the manga doesn't have anything to provide. Reading the manga was really enjoyable, especially with manga humor, which is jumping through panels silently, and when they do random things, it's just hilarious to me. It's also great to see an insight on how much fun each moment's to be able to animate it to an actual full sequence. When you go past what the anime covered, the manga continues to provide entertainment and show great story arcs for each character, building themselves up for the reality of being in a band and dealing with a sad result sometimes. I cannot express how much I love this franchise and reading every single moment of it. The details in these 4-page common manga is so beautiful for a small panel, especially sharing a giant amount of humor. I also love when each chapter starts with a cover page of the girls referencing album covers. I love when manga does references to the theme of the story or what the author likes. I just can't wait to continue my journey with Buty and seeing her grow as a character. 2024 is going to be fun with the next chapters. Number 2. The Rose of Aai. I bet you're looking at me and thinking, now this is weird. A 70s manga in the list with modern day titles? Or you're just probably thinking, what the fuck is The Rose of Aai? Well, I'll tell you. The Rose of Aai is a historic drama referencing the events of the French Revolution and the life story of Marie Antoinette. The reason I read this in the first place was actually for writing an essay for uni, but when I started the story, I got lost into this beautiful but sad world of love, capitalism, war, and the breakthrough of gender. While this story focuses on Marie Antoinette and her rise of being the last queen of France to her fall, we also explore a fictional protagonist named Oscar Francois de Jargias, a female captain to the royal guard and helps Antoinette at her side. Oscar is a girl who was raised as a boy by her father, but she grew up to be a very masculine, confident person, and seeing her journey of trying to fight for what she believed what was right, and also trying to come in terms with herself being a woman with feelings. This French historic setting is such an interesting appeal, especially one that was published in the 70s. I definitely see this manga as one of the stories that revolutionized manga in general, for the themes it explores, the tropes the characters are designed with, and the meaning it had in that period in Japan. I admire Oscar's character a lot. She's the one who stands out the most in the story, but her character is exactly why this manga works so well. Seeing Oscar's journey to the end was beautiful. It was a very long and tough battle for her. She will always charge into the fight like Valkyrie. The shoujo paneling in this story was greatly used, especially with the psychological in-depth, how each character feels and how rough the times were when Marie was in reign. I also enjoyed its spotlight on Marie Antoinette as well. She was designed as a shoujo protagonist, and she was portrayed as a girl who was lonely in the world of royalty and was not prepared for the weight she had to take when becoming queen. The Rose of Aai was a beautiful piece of work from start to finish, and I absolutely will keep continuing to love this gem. And my number 1 manga, the manga of my 2023, my favorite number 1 manga is The first thing I decided to do at the start of the year was binge Monster when it came to Netflix. A story that is praised as a legendary classic in the community, and when I sat through the anime start to end, I absolutely loved it, and loved every second about it. Although when I managed to start the manga, I felt the one thing that would have made the anime series a masterpiece to me is the pacing, and the manga does a brilliant job with that. Monster is a story about a Japanese surgeon named Tenma, who has high potential, but he understood even for a surgeon, he can't save everyone. He was literally in the best position to get a great build up to his career, but he risked it all to save a young boy instead of the mayor, and only to find out later would be his biggest mistake. Not only did he lose everything, the hospital he worked for tried to take the credit and leave him at the bottom for it, and for when he was doing what was right. He felt he lost everything, and secretly wished everyone would die, and then mysteriously they did, and the boy he saved went missing. Tenma would then rise up in the ranks later in years to become the head of surgeon in hospital. And when he was taking care of one of his new patients, he would find out his new biggest challenge. Tenma went out after work and got something the patient really loves as a gift. Tenma is truly a kind soul, and he is someone I admire a lot as a person and as a protagonist. He came to the hospital to see his patient was missing, and when he found him, he met the boy he helped grown up to be a monster. This boy, whose name was Johann Liebert, killed the man in front of him and disappeared without a trace, and then Tenma would be framed as the killer. Tenma used this to escape and hunt down Johann to prevent him from hurting anyone else and atone for what they both did. This created a journey of tracking down a man with a mystery, a crime story of a killer hunting down the name of somebody with a million faces. A journey that showed Tenma who he really is as a human and as a surgeon. Now, if you were like me and only got into Monster, everything you would have heard about this manga is just Johan being a brilliantly written antagonist, which he is of course, but when I finished the story, I was actually so shocked how there was little to no talk about how brilliant every other character was, and how they were actually better and how they stood out to me more than Johan did. Especially two characters in particular, Tenma and Grimma. Tenma, I already said something about what I really admire about him, but I feel it's not enough to show his deepness as a protagonist. He is truly one of the best I've seen in any form of media. Grimma though was also something special as a character. When you first meet him, he may look like a chill guy, always smiles a lot, and he's easy to talk to, but in reality, just like Johan, he was a victim to becoming a monster. While his character is smiling a lot, especially inspired by a hero cartoon he grew up with, the Magnificent Steiner, there is levels of emptiness and bloodlust inside of him that makes his smile feel so different, and trust me, you do not want to get on his bad side. My favourite moment of Monster involves these two characters in particular, as this particular moment showed me how beautiful Monster is. It involves a kid who was manipulated by Johan in disguise as his twin sister to show the dark side of adults and humanity, one that he was not ready to see. It got to the point where Tenma and Grimma found him standing close to a stormy river, convincing him to come to them. Grimma cared a lot for this boy and was glad he managed to save him at the very last second, but he couldn't understand if he should be crying or not, until the kid savagely killed a bug, and he looked into the kid's eyes, and you could tell he saw something horrifying. He truly cared for this kid to the point he showed real emotion as he was breaking down into tears. This one moment showed me Monster is not only psychologically deep, it is a true story that can build characters into what they want to be. From start to finish, Monster was a journey I will never forget. A story I will appreciate 1,000 times for how much it impacted me, and this is definitely the series that can start off your year. Thank you guys for watching till the end. I appreciate every amount of support I was given this year, and I will do my best to continue to provide videos I hope people will enjoy, and some new manga as well. I also like to thank for continuing to subscribe to me. We're now past 650 subscribers. It has motivated me to think that this time next year I could reach 1k subscribers. But it seems I don't have much time left. Thank you guys for watching for my videos, and sayonara. Hope you guys have a great 2024.